Hi, everybody, and welcome back. I am excited today. If you're watching on YouTube, I'm holding up the cover to talk with Louise Marburg. Also, I love your name, Louise.
Oh, thank
I
you.
love it. I have several kids with air quote, older names. I have a
Uh-huh.
Henry, I have a George, I have a
Oh, wow.
Grace, which has come back around, but I just
Yeah,
love older names.
I do too. I didn't think ones that aren't used anymore, like Mary, and nobody uses them anymore.
Yeah,
They're
like
really sweet.
Eloise, you're Louise.
Yeah,
I love
yeah.
Eloise. It's just, they're just fun. That's an aside. At any rate,
Mhm.
I was so excited when Louise's publicist, Claire, who's such a delight, emailed me
Yeah.
about your debut novel, which I don't want to out your age. She outed it to me. I don't think it's a secret, but I don't want to out it. But it was one of the things that I'll leave it to you if you want to reveal it. It was one of the things in her pitch that caught my attention.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you want to out it or do you want to keep it a
Oh,
secret?
let's move forward, and I will see if I'll out it. Maybe there's a special time to out it.
So this is your first novel, but it is
Right.
not your first published book.
No, no, it's my
Right.
fourth. Yeah.
So, another thing that I'll say the other thing that there were 3 things about the pitch that caught my attention. The first was your
Okay.
age because it just made me happy. The second was the fact that when I read it, the pitch, I did not realize I was reading the description of your main character. And
Uh-huh.
so it said she's, at once a psychiatrist, a mom of twin boys. I am an actual mom of twin boys. I
Oh,
thought this was talking about you at first. So I was like, oh my gosh, Louise and I have so much in common. I mean, I'm not a psychiatrist, but I probably could be based on the Google searches that I've done. And then the third piece, and then I got to the hook, which was, and she's also a perpetual liar or a
pathological.
pathological liar.
Yeah,
And I thought,
yeah.
oh, this just
Oh.
got even more fun. Okay. So your 3 books that you published before this are all
Mhm.
short. Would we call them
Short
short
stories.
stories? Okay.
Yes,
I know it
absolutely.
says
Yeah.
stories on your covers.
Yeah.
What compelled you to go from short stories to longer form?
Well, it was by mistake completely, and I often say to people, I wrote this novel by mistake because I had said many times, I'm not gonna write a novel and devote it to the short form. But I wrote first chapter as a story, and I thought, I can't let go of this character. She's too good. So I wrote another one, and then bingo, just went on.
It just
It
went
it
on.
was just utterly, utterly kismet.
Well, and I feel excited about this because it's not spectacularly long.
No.
Right? It's 190, it's under 200, barely, but under 202 pages.
Mhm.
And I feel excited about this because I'm thinking, I know I can devour this in a weekend,
Oh, yeah,
you know?
definitely.
And
Yeah.
sometimes we are under the illusion that it has to be 100,000 words.
Mhm.
And granted,
Mhm.
most are, but that doesn't mean it has to be.
I agree. I agree. I try not to do this in my novel, but I often feel like novels sag in the middle because it just needs to be more in the author's point of view.
Yeah.
But I don't think there does need to be more. And also I'm very succinct. Yeah, I don't have
Yeah,
that much
very
to say.
succinct. I get right to the point. So, you've been in this space a long time,
Mhm.
got 3 books out. You have an MFA in, is it creative writing?
Yeah, yeah, from
And am I
Columbia.
correct? It's
Mhm.
from Columbia?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
So, I mean, you're very well entrenched and well versed in this. I'm curious, there's a lot of talk right now, and to give listeners a point in time, I think it's May of 2026. I feel like dates and months and have no meaning
Mhm.
right now,
Mhm.
but it's May of 2026. And there's a lot of discourse right now about authors are feeling, what's a good word to use that isn't, I can't think of a good word that's not negative. They're feeling
Okay.
unhappy.
Okay.
There's And I recorded a podcast yesterday with Allie Hill, and I was talking about Carly Waters. Are you familiar with Carly Waters? She's a
No, I'm
literary
not.
agent, and she has a big Substack that's fantastic. I think she's just an absolute delight. But she was writing about how in all of these different author groups, authors are really bemoaning the state of publishing today. And there's a lot of,
Mhm.
it's not fair. And her point, which I absolutely agree with, is it has never been fair and it's not supposed to be fair. It's a
Yeah.
creative thing. I'm curious what you're seeing in the space that's maybe new and different from however many years ago that
Mhm.
surprises you, good or bad.
I'm not gonna say it's not fair because, things, they grow in different ways and, you might not be keeping up with it, and that's your problem. You know, there was a time when the New Yorker published one story by a well-known author and another smaller story by an unknown author. They stopped doing that. Well, that's just the way it is. So
Yeah.
unknown authors really can't get a break at the New Yorker. But I have noticed with big publishing, the big five, that they are less likely to buy literary fiction now.
Mm.
Yeah, I think they like a, and I may be wrong, but I know editors who feel this way. That there's no, if there's absolutely no telling if anyone's going to like this book, they're not going to buy it. You know, it doesn't matter. They love it, but it's got to have
Yeah.
some basis in fact in terms of like, yes, factually, we know this kind of book sells.
And how, in your opinion, would someone know that? Because unless it's a trending
Well,
style,
exactly.
in
That's
which
what.
case is that the answer? Is they
Yeah,
they
that's the
believe
answer.
based
Yeah,
that's interesting.
yeah.
So how do you is there any suggestion or guidance that you have for newer authors who
Well, I think that small presses have grown. There are
yeah.
many more of them, and there are larger ones. And get with it because they are the future. I think of really good writing. If you don't get a big five contract, eh, you know, so what? We're not in it for the money. We're not in it for fame. We're in it for the process, and it's
I'm so
wonderful.
glad you
Forget it.
said that.
Mm.
I
I
just
think a
sent
lot
out
of
an
writers
email
do.
yesterday. I was another big thing that's come out is there's a self-publish or there was a self-publishing site called publishing.com. It doesn't
Uh-huh.
exist anymore.
Uh-huh.
I think for the reason I'm about to say. They agreed to pay a $1.5 million settlement fee for an FTC violation for false income claim, misleading, I should say, income claims and all those sorts of things. And so because I teach self-publishing, that's kind of, in addition to several other things, but that's the model that I feel comfortable, very comfortable that I know well enough to guide people on to, how to get an agent. That's not my lane.
Uh-huh.
I sent out an email yesterday and I said, to be very clear, this is not a business people get into for the money. And so if you're in it because you think this is your next $1 million side gig, you probably want to unsubscribe from my newsletter. So I'm so glad you said that because I don't know how to teach you how to do it. And if
Yeah.
I ultimately have, if opportunity and preparation come together and form that magical thing called luck and I get a
Uh-huh.
big deal or I choose to go after that, I don't know how to teach someone else how to get that for God's sake.
And you said the right word is luck. Luck, I
Yeah.
think, is just a huge part of it. Yeah, I mean, often I read a book that's, a big five book, and then, it's the book of the season, and I think, what? This is terrible. And
Well,
that's just my taste, but I think, well, there's a lot of luck involved.
it's
Yeah.
kind of like when I saw did you see the banana that was duct taped to the wall and it sold for like $6 million? That was my what moment.
You mean in an art
Yeah, yeah,
gallery
yeah.
show? I didn't see that.
Yeah,
No,
they
that's
literally
funny.
duct taped, like with an X, I believe, if I'm
Uh-huh.
recalling it correctly, a banana, Louise, to the wall.
Oh my god,
And then
that
I'm
is
like,
too
how
much.
does that even sell for $6 million? Do you take
But I
home
believe it. I believe
I
it.
don't get
People
it.
people are told this is the latest thing, and they believe it.
Yeah,
So yeah, I mean that's just really funny. My husband is a painter,
I know,
so
yes.
yeah. So he just had a show, in fact, And there were
And
no bananas on the wall.
right. Well, I love his art. I was looking at his art. My
Oh, wow,
sister
thank
is
you.
actually an artist in what I would say is a similar let's see, what does she call it? It's collage. She's gonna kill me because she's gonna be like, you got this all wrong. But her name's Katie Goldstone. It's kind of
Okay.
collage
Really
and
good.
geometric, and she's up in Boston. And,
Okay. I'm
so
gonna write
yeah,
that down.
I enjoyed looking at his artwork because it felt familiar in a
Mhm.
non-comparison way. Because I know it's
Right.
no good for artists to say, "Oh, your art looks like so and so's." That's like the worst thing, but
It's not the
his
worst thing, but, I mean, the worst thing is when they say they like the frame. That's the worst
when they
thing.
say what? They like the frame?
Yeah.
That's that's funny. Small aside, one of my twins is also an artist, and he has a show right now in downtown Phoenix, and we put together all of his frames from the Goodwill. So if anyone
Oh,
says,
great.
"I like the frame over that
Yeah.
he's a charcoal artist," he's gonna fall over
I
and not
love
in a
it.
good way.
Oh,
So let's get to the positive here. What
okay.
do you love, money aside, if we take money off the table and what
Mhm.
is it about this space, Louise, that you just what is it about writing and sharing stories that you just can't not do?
Oh, well, I can't not write, and what I love about writing is the magic. I love setting out, with a sentence and seeing what it's telling me. And then things just
Mm,
happen. I love it when a character suddenly does something. And the character in this book, Laura Harrigan, in Fancy Meeting You, is the best character for that kind of thing. She was always doing something surprising. And that I just adore. So I just love writing and I'm very obsessive about sentence level.
yeah.
I'm very obsessive and I have to get to it. But one of the greatest things about my writing life is community. I
Mm,
have a lot of writing friends, and we send things back and forth, or we, bemoan the writing, situation, and just in general, it's like they're my people, and it's wonderful. So that for me, the community and the act of doing it are really central.
yeah. I'm always intrigued when people say the character just does these things, and I'm so
Hmm.
surprised because I try to figure out, but in our brain, we're coming up with those things. So we
Yeah, I guess
give the
somewhere in there.
credit, right? What do you
Yeah.
think that is? Like, we give the credit to the character, whether
Hmm.
the character is doing something, see the air quotes, bad,
Uh-huh.
good, funny. It's like, well, she told me that she wanted to go rob a bank. But in truth, we had to come up with that somehow.
Oh,
So,
yeah, for sure. I often say about writing that it's like you tread a very careful line between the conscious and the unconscious. And so there's a certain kind of mental relaxation that you have to maintain in order for this kind of thing to happen. Of course, it comes from our unconscious, from everything we know, whatever's in us. Um, but we don't know it. I mean, it's almost like going to a psychiatrist and coming up with things, that you didn't realize.
that's a great comparison. Now I'm
Yeah.
thinking about it like, oh, sometimes that could be scary to go to
Yeah.
if you go to therapy and you say, "Well, my character, I just realized this." And then you go, "Why was I thinking that they
Yeah.
robbed a
Oh,
bank and
no.
then went
Yeah.
to Brazil? Do I?"
Is there something in me?
Right? Was this I imagine that this character in Fancy Meeting You was really fun, and I think you've already said
Yeah.
that, really
Yeah.
fun to write.
Really
How did
fun.
you let go of it to say, "Okay, we're finished now?"
Well, it's interesting. Someone asked me recently if I would ever want to write a sequel, and I
Mhm.
said absolutely. And I would never say that about anything else I've written. I mean, I am the absolute author who says, I don't know what happens after the end of the story. People want to know what happens later.
Yeah.
I have no idea. But in this case, I would really like to continue on with
Would
her.
you?
Yes, I would. She's the best character I've ever written. And I inhabited her. Well, I don't know why. That's something to wonder. I inhabited her very easily. So there's something in me that's an alcoholic and a pathological liar and a slut. So
Oh, that's what it
Um,
was. That was the 3rd thing, that the
yeah,
bartender knows what her drink is whenever
yeah,
the
exactly.
corner
Take her keys.
bartender would.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, okay, so I can see, was there a clear ending, I guess, to this particular
Yeah.
story
I
that you
mean,
were telling? How do you determine that?
well, endings are interesting for me. I often think, "Oh, I've got so much further to go before it ends," and then it just ends, and I go, "Oh, okay, that just happened."
I wish I had that problem. That doesn't seem to be my
No,
issue.
it's not common. It's not
You
common.
kind of just say it's, well, and this is published by, I was looking at, who your publisher is, you can certainly say
Mhm.
it. So,
Yeah.
Blair, an imprint of Carolina
Yeah.
Wren Press. I have not, this is obviously a traditional house.
Mhm.
Are they um, a university press?
No, no,
Okay.
they're just a press. A lot of these small presses are, not university presses, and, I think 2 of my books were one of them for sure was the first book the press had ever published. It was a brand new, and I think the 2nd or the 3rd book, of stories, I think the press had just started, and I won their prize for, a book of
Oh,
stories. So I guess it would be among the first anyway. So,
okay.
yeah, they're always popping up. It's
Oh,
amazing.
they are.
Yeah,
Oh, they are,
it's
and there are some
great.
great ones.
Mhm.
And then there's kind of the writer beware stories of.
Oh, yes, for sure. You
Mhm.
have to be careful.
Yeah.
Blair, my publisher, is kind of a larger small press, and, they've been around a long time.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was very glad to be with them.
What do you value most, I guess, about the traditional publishing process? I'm pretty agnostic, so there's something for everyone, and I've
Mhm.
self-published for 20 years. I've never said I won't traditionally publish, but it's just never
Mhm.
gone that route. What for you, appeals to you, or what how do you feel about it?
Well, it's the experience. I often say, "You're not getting anything, so the experience better be good." And there's a certain intimacy between you and the people who are
Yeah.
putting the book together. Um, yeah, I mean, these editors that I've worked with in the past are my friends. I mean, they're people I email or say, "Hey, how you doing?"
Yeah.
It's really a lovely thing that you can have that kind of relationship with your editor. I have a friend who just published with a small press for the first time, and she said, "Oh my God, it's a completely different thing." They really care. And I'm not
Yeah.
saying that they don't care in a large publisher, but it's just a different,
Well,
traditional. Yeah.
sure. I mean, I imagine there's more pressure, there are more
Mhm.
authors, there are more
Mhm.
people, there are more cooks in the kitchen, so to
Yeah.
speak. And
Yeah.
so I think that's one of the reasons why these smaller traditional presses, even though, and I'm making a general statement here, so this is not everyone's experience, but in many cases, the advances are lower, but I've heard a
Mhm.
lot of authors say, "I prefer that because then there's actually an opportunity for me to earn it out and get
Yeah.
royalties thereafter." So,
That's true. Yeah,
right, they
that's
don't
true.
want the pressure of a high five-figure or a low six-figure advance that, by the way,
Yeah.
sounds a little more glamorous than it
Mhm.
is because of the way that they're
Mhm.
paid out, but
Yes.
like, they
Yeah.
value that intimate partnership with their
Yeah.
publisher.
And what's great about, and this is sounds really odd, but small presses do not really care if you make money, if your book makes money. If your book goes it gets big, that's fine, but, I mean, I've made almost nothing on all my books, and they don't care.
That's interesting. So, from an economic standpoint then, how do they stay afloat? Is it a different business model to a degree? Like, do they rely on
Yeah.
grants?
Yeah, they
In
rely on grants, they
Okay.
rely on, uh, fundraising,
Mhm.
uh, my press now is a nonprofit, so lots of fundraising, and they have a whole
Yeah.
board, and, it's the whole thing. So it's about people who really care about literature and really care about books. So it's just such a warm thing for me. It's
Yeah.
lovely. Yeah. So I
Yeah,
never
w
have
once
worried
you
about
once
it.
you add in that pressure of dollars,
Yeah. Yeah.
things get start to feel I from the number of and I've talked to many authors who are Big 5 published and have had great or good or fine experiences, like, they're not
Mhm. Yeah,
I
sure.
feel like I've talked to everyone who's had every at this point, every kind of
Mhm.
experience, um,
Sure.
but there's something about it being about the words and not about the bottom line
Mhm.
that
Mhm.
feels, mm, gosh, maybe it ties to, like, why I love older names
Yeah.
because it
Yeah.
feels
It is an
wholesome.
old-fashioned thing. Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, it's like the old days,
the old
when
days,
the old days. Yeah.
1998.
Ye But I'm thinking, say Flannery O'Connor, I don't think her editor thought about anything selling, and possibly she didn't sell, who knows?
Right.
But, yeah, so those are the days, and also those are the days when the editors were really edited as opposed to just acquired. Yeah. So that's another thing, is small presses, the editors really edit and, and really have a lot to say about the content and stuff, and I don't know if that's true in big publishing. I don't know, I've never published big publishing.
I mean, I hear more and more lately that and again, this is a general statement, but the editors at the bigger houses are very overworked, and they just don't
Mhm.
have I mean, there are only 24 hours in the day, and we all have to sleep and eat, and many people have families and partners and all kinds of things. So it's like there's only so much work that can get done. And so
Yeah.
their ability to really dig in and help make a book its best is not what it used to be. Now, I've also talked to traditionally published authors who have phenomenal relationships with their editors and feel like they
Mhm.
got the full everything out of them. From a publicity standpoint, what do you
Mhm.
enjoy doing? I'm look on your face. It was like, "I don't."
No, no, I mean, I'm enjoying talking to you, and this is part of publicity.
Yeah.
I just told Claire, my publicist,
Uh-huh.
that I didn't wanna write an essay. I hate writing essays.
You hate
And
writing
then
essays,
yeah, I hate it.
but you love short
I'm so
stories.
surprised. Yeah, just a whole different thing. I'm not in
Okay.
an
Can
essay,
you
I'm not
explain
making things
what's
up.
the difference? Like, how do you
Oh, a
differentiate?
short story is fiction, absolutely
Yeah,
fiction, and, it's a story, whereas an essay is
is more
based in fact.
yes, okay. It's more
So it's
memoir.
really
Got it.
arduous.
Got it.
I do it and I review books as well, which I also don't like doing, and that's a whole other story, but, yeah, I don't like them. Don't like essays. Publicity, I'm making a face because you do a lot of work toward publicity, and it doesn't always pay off. In fact, mostly doesn't pay off. And, it's like you throw the mud against the wall and see if it sticks.
Yeah.
And often it doesn't stick. And certainly small presses, my press does have a publicity department, but usually they don't. And often, I mean, if you can afford it, hire a publicist, but not everybody can. So you have to do a lot yourself. Uh, so I really don't like, you know, bothering me. I'm knocking on doors and saying, "Will you have me on your podcast? Can I be in your blog?" Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not for me. But, it's not
Well,
that I'm a shrinking violet. I just don't like doing it.
you got a great person doing it for you, because Claire, I
Yeah,
mean, she's connected me with several authors, and they've all been great, and she's just delightful. So,
she's
there's
lovely.
she's
Yeah.
not pitching, sterile, I want last week I got a pitch from someone who thought my name was Mark. I mean, it's
Oh my.
like,
Wow.
"I'll
No
pass it
research
along.
there.
I don't know who Mark is, but don't don't think this is for me." No, she's great, and I think I sense that the connection aspect of publicity is something that you really like, meeting
Hmm.
readers and
Hmm. Yeah, I like that. I'm not sure what publicity does to move the needle as far as book sales go.
hmm,
Uh, I just don't know. My last book was reviewed in the New York Times, and there's definitely an uptick in sales, but not what you would think. not a lot.
Hmm.
So I
So
don't know.
so how would you advise many times authors, especially first-time authors, when they're hiring a publicist, their mindset is, "I'm hiring this person to do marketing to sell books." Is there
Mhm.
another reason or, like, a benefit or goal of hiring a publicist that
Yeah.
you
I
would
think, my, publicist who worked on my, 2nd book also worked on my 3rd book. And my
Hmm,
2nd book, really not much of what she did worked out. But by the time I did my 3rd book with her, people knew who I was. She'd already pitched me to a lot of people, and I think that's why my book was in the Times, is because they already knew who I was. It's like, why not?
okay.
Uh, yeah. So laying the, what would you call it? I don't know. Just
Like the
laying the
foundation for name recognition,
yeah.
maybe? Okay.
Yeah, just, I thought that that was helpful. I might be wrong, but it seemed like it was. And she got my book in the Washington Post as well, so it did make a difference, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. But so you can't expect to be making a lot of money from a publicist. It's like it has more to do with your reputation.
Yeah. Well,
Mhm.
especially if the publicist I mean, there are some publicists that are working on a monthly retainer that ends up costing between 15 and $25,000.
Oh,
So,
yeah, yeah.
that's a hell of a lot of books you'd have to sell.
Yeah, I know, I
Yeah,
know. Yeah, I would like to make at least as much money on the book as I pay to
right,
publicize it,
right.
but that's just not so that is obviously downside of small presses,
Yeah.
you're never gonna break even
Th
unless
this
you
is
do absolutely
interesting.
nothing. Mm.
What's that what was the last thing you said?
Unless you do absolutely nothing about the book, so you don't travel to, do
Right.
bookstores, you just sort of sit there. Then you are making your advance. But,
Yeah.
no, you just don't.
And I'm glad that someone else, because I'm tired of being the negative person over here who's like,
Mhm.
"Listen, this is
Yeah.
not." I think there are 2 sides to this author space. There's the side where people love stories and they love to write and they love the way words can that's something that AI will never I stand by this. It will never be
Mhm.
able to replicate. I know AI is gonna get better and better and better, but it learns off of stuff that's already been written. So,
Mhm.
unfortunately. So how could it ever emulate the way that the human brain puts into words, an
Mhm.
experience or, whatever. Then there's the
Mhm.
other side of the space where to me, it's more it's not about writing, it's about the book is the business. And it's just a completely different mentality. That's where I
Mhm.
think people get into the whole, "The book is your business card," and I really can't stand that phrase in the business because
Yeah.
I'll go down a rabbit hole, I don't wanna go off on a tangent, but it's maybe the only industry I can think of where I feel like it's 2 completely separate industries, but they call themselves the same thing.
Oh, yeah? What do you mean by that?
Do you know what I mean? So, for example, if you're in the space where you're a business professional, and I've worked with
Mhm.
many of these people, and you're writing a book because you want to get the word out about what you do professionally, and
Mhm.
or you wanna serve people who maybe aren't in a position to hire you at your one-on-one rate, but you wanna get the information out. So, financial literacy, health, perimenopause, I got
Mhm.
75 books
Mhm.
on that, whatever. There's a different mentality about the money end of it than there is when you're writing as an art, because
Yes,
there's
completely
right?
different. Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
that's where you start to see, I wrote a book in a weekend and I made $150,000 and now I can teach you how to do that too. Um,
Yeah.
that's where I think a lot of people are getting the wrong idea about what the space that I inhabit is.
Mhm. Mhm.
And it's
Yeah.
hard to feel like you're coming out or I'm coming out and saying, this isn't a place to because it's not that you don't make money. It's not that you can't make money. There are a lot of authors making a good living.
Mhm.
But they're what your face.
Far. Now, far many more are not making a good
Right.
living.
We all most of us have a second job, or we have a partner who's helping us,
Oh,
pay the bills, or we have
yeah.
several other jobs. I mean, it's just it does it ever happen? Yes, but it's
You can't depend on it.
you can
That
thank
can't
you.
be your
Thank you.
goal, it
Yeah.
just can't.
And you might have a
You
good
know
year and then a not good year and then a good month and
yeah,
then a terrible month. It's
and
not
your agent may dump you because didn't have a good year, all manner of things happen.
yeah.
So, yeah, I just think you just have to go with all flows.
Yeah.
All flows.
Go
Yeah,
with all flows.
yeah.
Louise Marburg. It's gonna be your
I always say that in my books, and I love them. Where's my book? I'm gonna hug it. That only I could have written it. This is my book. Nobody else could have written this book,
Yeah,
and that's what makes it so special for me.
precisely.
Yeah. So I was
Precisely.
not going to do that, And I remember telling a friend of mine who was so nervous about coming out with her first collection, and she didn't want to do it. And I said, you know what? This is nobody's gonna write this book. This is your book. Nobody else can write it. And I think it made a big difference to her in terms of how she saw the book.
Yeah, I absolutely
Yeah.
agree with that. I think, again, it goes back to nobody can put words together the same way as another
Yeah.
person.
And nobody can have the idea, the character, or whatever it is, the tone, all of it. All of it is
Mhm.
very personal to the author.
Sure.
So I just love
Yeah.
that idea. You know.
I do too.
Yeah.
Last question I always ask people is, "What are you reading right now?"
Oh my goodness, what am I reading? I'm reading what am I not reading?
Right. That's
I'm
how I feel, right.
I guess what I'm, really reading is, Andrew Porter's The Imagined Life, which is his novel, which came out, pretty recently, last year, I guess. Um,
Okay.
I recently read Vigil by George Saunders, and I can ruin everybody's life by saying I hated it.
Oh.
Uh, yeah, God, it was so depressing. I reviewed
Oh,
it.
we don't need
I
any
read
I don't personally need any more depression right now.
no.
Okay.
Well, it was about I won't say it was about anyway, Louise Erdrich has written a collection of short stories, which is really
Who
interesting.
has?
Louise Erdrich.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and what else am I Allegra Goodman's, um, book it's about a family. I can't it's actually anything Allegra Goodman writes is really entertaining. So, she's an
I love the
author.
name
I think
Allegra.
everybody
I'm adding that
I
one to my
know.
list.
I know, it's cool
It's a
name.
great
Yeah.
name.
Yeah. So that's so far.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
Right.
this is Allegra book. This is not about us. I'll just plug her. Um,
Ooh. Okay.
yeah.
This started with me asking and being so excited because so what I always ask people at the end, and I rarely it's almost always a book I've never heard of or an author I've not yet heard of, and I'm so excited to get that recommendation and then get the book, but now I'm like, "Oh god, I didn't
Too
foresee."
many. Yeah. There's just more than you can. I mean, I just get them and they're just unread all the time.
Right.
It's terrible.
Right, I just have
Yeah.
a stack. It just keeps growing, and I'm not mad
I
about it, but
know.
I would like some time to read them.
But at some point, you're gonna have to go to prison to read them. I mean, they're supposed to need so much time. You know,
Well,
that's the amount of
coming
time you
full
need.
circle, based on some of the ideas that we might come up with for future novels, I mean,
Yeah.
gosh, oh, God. Well, thank you so much for
Oh,
carving out the
thank
time and
you.
chatting with us.
Oh, and terrific to see you, Elizabeth. What a great chat.